I'd like to call to order the Public Safety and Equity Advisory Committee meeting for May 7th, 2026.
Somebody had the mic on.
I'm coming on feedback off of Frank.
Shows my.
It's not you.
Let me try.
Your speakers off?
So,
Computer day.
so we've turned audio on? Okay. We'll try this again. I'd like to call to order the Public Safety and Equity Advisory Committee meeting for May 7th, 2026. Kimberly, do roll call, but let me take one quick check. Paul Wilcox, are you online? Can you hear us? Can you let us know?
Yeah, it sounds good. It was echo before, but it's fine now.
Okay, good, thank you. Okay, go ahead, Kimberly.
Shelby Stephenson.
Here.
Victoria Rizzo.
Here.
Rich Mellon.
Here.
Kelly Wesson.
Here.
Frank Stevens.
Here.
And Twyla notified us she would not be here. Mary notified us she would not be here. Gary Winters.
Here.
And Lieutenant Michael Kramer. I apologize, not Lieutenant, Michael Kramer. Nick Moore.
Here.
And Paul, I'm here, Kimberly Carter. And I don't think we have a mic. We don't have a mic.
I'm here.
Thank you. Stand for a pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'd like to open public comment on non-agenda items. I can't see because I'm not logged in. If anybody has comments on non-agenda items, go ahead and unmute. State your name for the record. Seeing none or hearing none and none in chamber, I'll close comment. Public comment on non-agenda items. All right, so it's item number 3, review of monthly law enforcement reports for April. So let's just go ahead and start with, Nick, if you have anything you'd like to share with us. You there, Nick?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
What was your question?
I just was, if there's anything you'd like to say about this last month, if there was anything that stood out or any interesting thing that happened or anything?
Nothing at the top of my head that stands out from last month.
Okay, now does anybody here have any questions? Did you have a chance to review the law enforcement reports? Do you guys have any questions for Nick?
This is Sherry. Nick, I don't know if you can answer it, and I took notes and forgot those on my desk, but I want to say it might have been slide 8, or page 8 that was in the packet. Anyway, this is the scenario. It looked like sexual offenses was up, and I was just kind of curious if it was like, I realize you can't tell the details because I think it's maybe related to investigations or detective stuff, but is it in an area in particular, or?
Does it specify what it is?
No, but I think then when I looked in something else, there showed rape cases. Do you guys, it's the page that's
The summary of
The summary of like property and personal and societal crimes.
How many cases was it up from the month prior?
It runs 1 or none, and it was at 4.
It could be, I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. It could be something our detectives are working on. It could be something with the ICAC deal with our detectives where they get tips about the ICAC is for internet crimes against children, which that typically falls under the child exploitation, child pornography, child sex abuse, that type of deal. So it might be related to that.
Okay,
And when that stuff happens, our involvement is pretty minimal in that. So I don't know a whole lot about it.
okay. Yeah, it just caught my eye and I thought, wow, that's up so much. And I just wondered if there was something, if it was just spread out or if it was in an area and just sort of its relation to, truck stop or not or whatever. So, okay.
No, typically when you have those types of calls, it's just scattered throughout the neighborhoods, or it may even be generated up at the high school. One of the SROs may have taken a case on something up there or an allegation.
Okay, all right, thank you.
pull it up, but it seems like you guys have resolved it. I found it. Does anyone else have any questions? Frank, you have any questions? How about you, Rich? You got any questions?
No, I don't.
Ellie or Victoria, either one of you guys have questions for Nick? Okay. All right, well then we'll move on from that. I didn't have anything other than, Sherry, you brought that up. I think there was a bunch of vice cases that were reported or called in, but I think I didn't see that on the statistics. So, okay, somebody reported. It's on the call log, but not otherwise. Okay, so we'll go on to number 5. We had our Citizen Advisory Committee meeting last night, and I just wanted to let you all know that aside from getting the blessing from the City Council and the City Manager, Citizen Advisory is moving forward with a town hall / open house, a hybrid sort of thing. They're planning it tentatively, looking at the first full week of October, either the Tuesday, this October 6th, Wednesday the 7th, or Thursday the 8th. What they're potentially, they're still in the planning stages, obviously. But thinking about perhaps it could be from 4 to 8. Oh, by the way, the reason why they picked a weeknight was because when we had, CAC had been at First Friday, they had actually tabled last year and talked to people. If you were to go to a city meeting, when would be convenient time, when would it be? And they all were saying weeknights in the evening. So that's partly the reason why they decided not to. At first they were looking for a weekend, but then said, well, I think we'll go for a weeknight. And the open house idea, because they are thinking that all of the committees will have a little table there and talk about their committee, what's going on with their committee, whatever is pertinent to their committee. But they want it to be more informative for the citizens. And what's a big thing we're talking about in the city right now? Fire and EMS services and police. So they are thinking that they'll have a keynote speaker on this. I was planning to talk to you guys about tonight that what will we do at this event? And I think for sure we got to talk about the police, fire, EMS, all that sort of stuff. So they were already thinking that that's the way we want to go. So like I said, they're going to be talking to the city manager, and then Adrian, the chair, is going to go to the next, the city council meeting and sure that the city council blesses this event. But just want you guys to be aware that we could be getting this, could be really getting off the ground. And I think it's going to be really good. Besides the police, fire and EMS, and having a Q&A, and they'd like to get some questions ahead of time so they can make sure those are addressed in the presentation. But there might be some other presentations about some other stuff, some shorter stuff. But they think like the first couple hours will be more like an open house sort of thing. People can come and go, or it's just to allow for people of all kinds. And those that want to stay for the presentation in the evening, then a little bit later from 7 to 9 or from 6 to 8, there'd be presentations that they would do. So this is kind of, like I said, this was a lot of brainstorming stuff that happened last night at our meeting. So I think it sounds pretty good. Do you guys have any questions about that?
Yeah.
Okay, more to come on that.
Any chance about talking about like CERT or emergency response at the same thing?
That would be our part that we could potentially bring forward, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. That kind of comes down here in some of the other stuff, that discussion items that we're going to talk about. So, okay, so I just want to give you guys the update on that.
Thank you.
Okay, and then item number 6, the police plans that they have planned for the next year in the preliminary budget. It's preliminary because City Council has not approved it yet. So what was in the budget, I did go to the budget meetings, and some of you probably were a part of those budget meetings, but I want just people to be aware of that their plan this year is like a ramp up of the Troutdale Police, where they would, this year, meaning this next fiscal year, the budget starting after July 1st. They would purchase some equipment. I think that was in the budget that I saw, the way I understood it, is up to 4 cars and some other equipment. They would hire the police chief, and then later in the year, hire a lieutenant, with the idea that if it's all going well, working out, et cetera, and they've got the next budget for the next year, that in the following year, they would hire 2 sergeants, 8 officers, and a half-time records person. And it is for a limited police department, which that's to be talked about further. I think that the working group, et cetera, there's going to be more discussions. I think this is, like I said, this is all just some preliminary plans, but I think more details are going to have to be worked out by the task force on stuff, the working group, et cetera. So that the police side of it is what I'm just specifically here talking about, nothing to do with fire or EMS. So, yeah, that was exciting because I think citizens might be excited about it, but that'll hold back a little excitement in that I don't know if it's going to be this close enough to the same thing we had before, and if we go backwards, that might not be good for citizens. So, in other words, I'm excited that they're moving this direction, but I'm not, we got to work out some more, find out some more of those details. So, anyone have any other comments or questions on that? Rich?
Am I correct in that they hadn't really actually made a decision, but if they didn't get it in the budget, then it wouldn't even be an option.
Right, exactly.
And so they had to get it in there, regardless of what they decide, because you can choose not to spend the money, but you can't choose just to.
Exactly, that's exactly why they put it in there, exactly why they did, yeah. And it's my understanding that the city manager, Mike Weston, has had a little experience in his previous job of starting a police department for a smaller city. So, anyhow, I think that's why.
Can I add, when I started new groups before, we generally want to start with your base first, because they're the ones that are going to be helping you hire the others. You don't want to try to do it all at once, or you end up compromising on who you hire. Right. So you do have to build over time, which is, think about it, that's what happened originally, because we used to only have 1, and then we got 2, and had 2 for the longest time, right?
Right.
So,
yeah. So it'll be interesting what they did present in the budget was that we would have initially no detectives, but it was also pointed out that we all pay taxes to the county and they have detectives, so what is the unincorporated area? They get detectives, so who knows all, but I just want us all to the working group will keep us up to date, and we can feel free to tune into those meetings. The next working group meeting, I understand, is May 18th, right? Victoria, you're on that.
Week from Monday.
Yeah, week from Monday. So anyhow, just let's all just stay in tune to what's going on with there. Okay, so that's it on that. Now, the next item is review mission statement and goals, and I just thought we could read, or okay. There we can see it. So just reviewing what our job as this committee is. The Public Safety and Equity Advisory Committee is charged with evaluating and making recommendations to the city's elected and appointed officials on matters related to public safety, including law enforcement, fire, and medical services. Okay. Include in this charge is that the committee make recommendations that may be necessary to ensure that all of these public services are provided in a fashion that ensures equity regardless of a person's race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, national origin, marital status, age, disability, and other classes protected under Oregon statutes. The PSEAC is not charged with reviewing use of force, I think it is, complaints, or citizens' complaints against public safety personnel. So, to review that, and then I'm going to go over pass out to you guys here. I printed off some of the goals. Okay. All from the printer. Sorry about that. Sorry, I don't want to have one for. There's one for Kimberly. Okay, good. I was going to say maybe. Okay. So first of all, this list is the list that we had from our meetings a while back, and then the bottom list is the list that Kelly was nice enough that she had, and I just wanted to include both in case we made sure that we covered all the things. So reviewing our list from before, public safety survey completed, summarized findings and report to public safety work group and city council. So we did that. So we did that in January of 2025. So that is completed, but not to say that if we ever came up with a reason that we needed to do another survey, we just would do another survey. Work on starting a CERT program, perhaps beginning by growing neighborhood watches. Well, the CERT program, that's what we figured out, that you have to have a sponsor, so you have to have a police sponsor. So there's, go ahead.
Managed by our city council.
Yes, so we have to have a sponsor to be able to do that. And so I think we potentially, that is something that we'll talk about later when we talk about the things for discussion items for maybe the fall or a walk, et cetera. So I think we can work on getting a sponsor, or we could also work on the neighborhood watches, but both those things, those are things we definitely can work on that we haven't done, we have not accomplished.
Can I just add something?
Sure.
I feel like, I don't know if it will in light of our current economic situation, but I feel like there might be even a possibility that the city could charge some type of, whoever the person is that would look for grants, because it almost seems like a grant might be available for prepping emergency response in light of a potential catastrophe or something. And again, I don't know for sure, but it seems like, I feel like that many years ago in Gresham, one that I attended, and it was a countywide thing or whatever, it seemed like it was based off of a grant.
Okay.
But I don't know for sure, but I want to.
Can ask with that idea. Okay, Okay, the third item, help to promote cadets and explore programs. The sheriff told us that that isn't possible because they won't do it. They don't.
I'm getting confused.
One is
The
police
cadet
and fire.
program is with the Gresham Fire. And it's for kids 15 and 20. That's the cadet program. Multnomah County has search and rescue for young people. They don't have like we used to have when we had our own police. We had the reserves and what they call the kids. You know, remember?
The ride-along program, my son actually attended it.
Yeah, and they would help with any events we were having and things. And then we had reserve officers too.
So I think that's all a possibility as we get our own police department, that we could be bringing something like that back, maybe.
And in the meantime, if any of the kids wanted, I think they're gonna start the applications again for next year.
Well, but they're gonna start soon. I was gonna say, that is something that we could have information at this town hall, or we could put it in the Champion if we knew about stuff like that to promote it. Yeah, all these things, yeah.
Isn't there Reynolds rep yet?
No,
No. I'll be,
we're working on it.
I'll be talking to the principal and assistant principal next week to see if we can get someone from their school to join the committee.
Because, this is an aside, I'm on their budget committee too. They're losing their ROTC, which I'm,
They are.
yeah, maybe if we could get some of the kids into these.
Okay, well, so that's,
Is that application what you're talking about through the sheriff's office or?
Gresham's through Gresham Fire, it's right online. They had a lot of, when I went to all those night outs, there was a lot of them represented there.
okay. Well, I just know that when we brought up the cadets and explorers before, it just went nowhere. We even asked the captain when he was sitting here.
They don't have the explorers.
So they just told us it isn't possible, so we just have to figure out where the other way. So if I can task you with providing us with that kind of information, then we can, since you seem to know more about it, if I can ask you to, Victoria, that'd be great, because then we could be doing something on that. Okay, just going through the rest of the goals here. Build awareness and community engagement through the city's booth at First Friday. And I think that's just one place. I think that we've talked about lots of other places. And CAC, we talked about it last night too. All the different ways we want to try to reach. And knowing First Friday, Diane testified last night that there's lots of people she knows from Troutdale. But when I've also statistics about it or been there, there's been a lot of people outside of the area. So I think it's a mix. Just depends on who you happen to know or who happens to be there that month. So
It's next, yeah.
I think it's a real mix, but I think that we can't count on that being the thing that we go to. I think we have to just use any and all means to just try all sorts of different ways. And we all know that. We all use different forms. Some people are on social media, some people are not. So, I mean, I think it's great that we just try to remember all of the means to communicate.
Yeah, like within parks, we always talk about, like there's these bulletin board type things within parks, and it's like, hey, that's another spot to put stuff.
Yes.
To get information out.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean it's everybody from the city getting it, and it doesn't even mean it's a lot of people depending on the park it's being presented at. But it still gives some information, some people that might not see it elsewhere. So to me, it's like it's a good option.
For best practices, each of these committees, we should, as we develop and find ways, we should share it with the other committees so they can make sure to get their word out too.
Yeah.
But I think maybe one of the great things is if we get enough interest to come to our town hall, that will help. And then we could ask them, how best do you get communication? And then that would provide, we could have a survey for that, and then we can figure out all these avenues that we need to make sure that we're covering.
I would like to add, if you do want to participate in one of the first Fridays, if you want to present or do a survey or just engage, I just need to know which date, and then I just have to get approval through Monday for that, because we're still building the booths and everything, but I can get that on her docket, and then we can discuss it, and if you know which one, it's June 5th, August 7th, and September 4th.
June 5th. No, none in July because of.
And then this is our second year not doing July because it is right at the holiday weekend.
Yeah.
And it's a holiday. This year it's a staff holiday. So, yeah, so it's the second year we've had to skip July, but it's not our intention to skip July every year.
Okay, so you said June 5th, August
7th,
and September.
September 4th.
And just for clarification, none of these got cut from the budget.
The first Friday did not get cut from the budget. There were funds cut, but not the event.
Okay, then also having a presentation, a night out from Wood Village or Fairview. I met with them and they couldn't come to our meeting. I met with them and then I presented last May. It is, honestly, it's a fabulous event that Wood Village does. It takes money. We don't have money in our budget. It also takes a ton of work. Their city sponsors it. It's the city staff that put it, and in conjunction with the church and all their volunteers. So it does take a big lift to do it. They also have a great place. So not to say that we could never do it, but right now there's no money. So I feel like this town hall thing is our next best thing to probably the night out. But you know, if you guys feel differently, I just know there's no money in the budget for this stuff. So. Citizen advisory, maybe doing a town hall. Yep, they're working on that. And then the last thing I have is meet the comfort dog Burton, which we did accomplish.
I think we should get him for town hall.
And we should do that for town hall too. That would be a good idea. Let's
Get them from the Special Olympics.
Yeah, if we can get the fire department in Burton, the kids would love it.
Yeah. Okay, so then let's see, I'm going to go to the list that Kelly, by the way, this other list, Kelly had done some research. So starting CERT program, okay, well, we've talked about that, can be on our goal list. The cadets and explorers, we're tasking Victoria to help us figure out how, all the ways we can, and then we can figure out what we need to do to promote that. We followed up with the citizen survey. Trying to drive more public input at meetings. Okay, well, we can specifically talk about other ways to do that. That too. Maybe it's worded a little different the way I had it before. Build awareness and contribute. Okay, it's basically the same thing. Okay. Explore community policing initiatives. So that we be notified about them in advance to help promote them. That scouting with community policing is more, is that
It's like events with the police officers so that they meet the community members. So like,
that part.
yeah. So it's like getting our community members and our police officers to get to know each other and know who is policing and know who is our community.
I talked about last month, meet and greet kind of with the officers.
Yeah. And there's like things that you can do, like games or whatever you could play, or like little stuff to sort of get community involvement too.
So I totally think that will tie in totally for, maybe not for our first town hall but when we get our, if they move forward, if they don't move forward with their own police department, then it doesn't seem like that, then the problem with we do have, Nick is our main guy in Troutdale, so we can meet him, but others that rotate through, it would be changing, but still, it would be good. That would be really
And if
good.
nothing
We'd love
else-
for Nick to come.
And if nothing else too, for while we're transitioning, we can at least create some sort of program or guidelines or
Yes.
processes, you know, just to even get it brainstormed and started.
Okay, so that would be one of our goals too. Okay, get notice about police and fire openings to help promote them. I have no idea if that's possible. Seems like we brought this up with the chief before, but I don't know. Was that something you guys, you sheriff guys, Nick or Michael, can address? Is that something that you guys would let us know about police and fire openings so we could, well, not you won't know about fire, but police openings so we could try to promote it?
Try to what? Try to what now with the police openings?
To try to, if you had openings, we could try to help get the word out that you're looking for new officers.
I think generally right now they're just using the Facebook and Twitter stuff regarding that.
So could
So I mean,
our
an
committee
easy way to. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, could our group be of any help to that if we had a normal way that we reached out to our community? I mean, maybe there's some people in our community that are thinking about law enforcement, or maybe are, I don't know, move into the area and say, oh, wow, I'm looking for a job. Wow, there's one here in Troutdale, or, I mean, I could apply. I don't know.
If you were wanting to try to help with like the recruitment process at the sheriff's office, I'd say probably at the top of my head, the easiest way to do it would probably be to reshare the Twitter and Facebook pages on the city pages.
Okay.
I think some of these were driven by Woodrow and his connections with the scouting program.
Yeah.
And I do feel like, I can't remember if it was Captain Stewart or Captain Asbo, talked about sort of the restrictions on some of what they have available for them related to police. And Victoria told us before, fire is different than it, but.
Certainly, okay, we'll just look into that further. We'll just keep that on some, you know, they aren't saying that, no, you can't do it, so it sounds like we could help, so why not? Okay, Wood Village, we already talked about the night out, and rotating committee members staffing a booth at First Friday and other city events. Yeah, we could certainly talk about people's ability to do other things, so. Okay, does anybody have any other things on just reviewing what we just have in the past for goals? And does anybody else? I mean, this wasn't have to be a goal setting time, just if you had any other comments. This wasn't my main emphasis. It was just reviewing what we had, if you have any other comments. Because I think that we should probably, with the start of since we're so close to the end of this year on people that serve on this committee for this year, for sure, set new goals when we get new people back on.
Well, at least revisit them.
Yeah, revisit them. Yeah.
I mean, in the sense that it makes it more solid, because I'm sure like.
We never did that.
Kelly was like, what are we doing exactly?
Doing those, yeah.
Maybe Frank was too, I don't know.
I was lost. I was very lost.
The only comment I would make is I'm seeing a theme with community engagement, outreach, neighborhood associations. I was taking notes while we were talking, which kind of covers CAC. That's the CAC committee. So I would just recommend that you focus on like the CERT program seems like low-hanging fruit. That seems like a good priority. And then I think it was last year we had the wildfire emergency response. Those kind of things seem like really easy things to grab onto for goals. Where the community engagement, I think we're kind of mixing it up with all the other committees.
But we are a citizen involvement committee.
Yeah.
I think we are.
No, I'm saying we're part of it, but it's not like singular to this committee. It's beyond that. So it encompasses all of those holistically. And of course, yeah.
Yeah, because I would say,
But most of us are on all of those other committees too, so.
Right. I think
So you're seeing this duplication on every level.
because everybody wants input in their committee about stuff. I mean, I believe that, related to public safety,
I'm specifically
that
looking at
triggers
community
something
engagement.
different.
So I'm just saying, when we're talking about community engagement and outreach, and these are all things that all the other committees are talking about as well. So it almost begs to ask, should we have a committee? We already have a committee, CAC, that does that. So, and we already have people that are on this committee that are on that committee. So it's kind of like, would we focus on that goal, or would we focus on something that's specific to the safety side?
I think that we want to drive engagement, but we're specifically talking about the things that we're interested in. So that's what we're not trying to task CAC with. Make sure, we want to know how people feel about the, neighborhood watch stuff. I mean, I think we want to make our presence known outside too, in our community. So I don't think we can not pursue community. But do we have to exhaustively look at it? No, we borrow the ideas from CAC.
Yeah, I just, what I'm saying is I wouldn't make that the focus of the goals. You're already giving input to the group that should be doing the community engagement as well as your inputs as well. So.
I track exactly. I don't want to shirk my duties here as.
Shirk your duties?
Well, because I think that we need to engage related to public safety, all those areas, and I don't want to, maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm just focusing on community engagement. Community engagement alone, just
Okay,
that
not-
all by itself. I'm not looking at
I don't
those.
think that we're totally, that isn't our big emphasis. It's on the subjects that we're related to us.
Well, we're trying to figure out neighborhood watches. We're looking at neighborhood, and then neighborhood associations is on the CAC list. You see the similarities here?
Right.
We're running down the same road.
It's
Neighborhood
kind of reverse
watches
of
relate
what
to
you're saying.
safety. We are the public safety group.
Yeah.
So to me, it makes sense that we would, and we're reaching out to the community to see if they feel that there's a safety issue that they would want to pursue a neighborhood watch. A neighborhood watch isn't who's having the, garage sale this weekend, where are we going, or whatever. To be honest with you, and I totally respect CAC, but I would say, I can't really figure out what that committee does. Because to me, its name isn't defining enough for it.
Yeah.
Public safety seems like it's public safety.
So maybe that's summing up what I'm trying to say, is the fact that it's specific, and it really highlights the goals that we're trying to accomplish, and not, like you said, it's like, where are we going with CAC? And yeah.
But, so CAC, I know, has a purpose. I know they've spent long and hard hours working on it. I just am not familiar with it. And so when I see this, I think, yes, I want public involvement in public safety. I want it for every other area too, that's fine. But to me, it's like, I might get somebody more likely willing to speak or say something if there's something unsafe in their neighborhood. So it would be related.
I can see where that could be the forum for open discussion, for sure.
Well, and so I feel like if we as a committee are seeking public engagement with us, I wouldn't leave it CAC to figure that out. I would say, hey, tell us, let's see if we can strategize together, to come up with, a solution or another idea or whatever. Or, I feel like knowing about safety issues, it gives us a better idea. Tasking Nick and the department with the special task that they do for us. The focus if we've each month or whatever it is. So to me, it seems like, of course, we would want, and I wouldn't leave it to citizen advisor to reach out on behalf of us. It would be our job.
Okay, that was my 2 bits.
Yeah, I think probably we are saying it's just we're understanding it a little different or something. You guys have any thoughts here? Good? Okay.
I like where you're going with this. I like where you're going with this.
Okay, so I am going to move on to agenda item number 8, which is discussion. So it kind of, I think we should probably talk about what we envision for the public safety walk. And maybe we do the groundwork, but I felt like after I went to the budget committee meeting with this sort of maybe ramp up in limbo, I didn't know exactly how to proceed, whether we should forge forward with this walk right away here in June, or if we should announce, made any other plans since then. I talked to the city manager, and honestly, he was so busy with the budget, I think it went, said, well, yeah, that sounds good, but the logistics, nothing ever happened on that. We never had any more talks on that.
He had his hands full.
He had his hands full.
Yeah.
He's busy, so.
I think knowing the vision first and then discussing what the restrictions or things that would cause some issue, and then other ways that we could, because maybe it happening in June isn't realistic, but maybe it could happen in July or something like that. And I mean, I kind of feel like rather than me make an assumption on what the vision looks like, because I know it's a little bit more up in your wheelhouse what you were talking, but maybe you want to, maybe I'm sorry, I'm not.
No, you're right. I just thought we should talk about what we kind of think it would be. I know that we want the community to come out and to meet officers. And we think we do it in a walk form.
I haven't been on any of the walks that you do. What do they look like?
We're the community walk. It's recreational, and it started with the most of the stay childcare events that we have with the rec department is where it started, with all the moms and their kids, and they were asking about what can we do for going into the parks, and what can we do for, so rec came up with this community walk, which just started, it's fairly new. And then I show up for it, and I usually get asked questions about history, and questions about Sharon Nesbitt and how the construction and what our history is there. And then as we go down the trail, we just talk about, all the things that we're doing in the area and that kind of thing. So, when I envision the public safety walk, I'm not quite sure where we're going with that one. So it'd be like, you want to meet the officer so that he would be involved, I guess. But then where do you do the walk? I've done walk audits before, where you actually do a walk and with AARP, where you walk and go, hey, this is unsafe, this is safe, that kind of thing.
I think mostly when we were talking about it, it was a way to meet the officers. And then, we were talking about a walk, and I think then it just got slammed into a walk thing. Does it have to be a walk? No, but it's just to get people.
Yeah, or even they could talk about how to be safe in the public or in the public parks.
Yeah,
or,
it could be the officer that dictates an area that he could talk about and go, hey, this is one of the public safety things that we deal with from this point of view. It doesn't have to be a walk. It could be a meetup for that.
So
Are you envisioning that it'd be the same type people that would be coming, so these moms and kids, and kind of like this relation, or are you envisioning, so like in the morning, are you envisioning more like in the evening or on a weekend, or?
probably on a weekend, because I would what I'm envisioning is being able to get more of the community involved.
all ages.
Of all ages, yeah. And I think the Monday through Friday, early morning, it's really hard for a good amount of working crew. But yeah, I think you're right. It was like, let's get the officers involved, let's get the community involved. We could do a walk, but it could be any kind of public safety forum or meetup or tour maybe.
Rec you could combine the two. That's an option where the rec department helps out with setting it up.
Well, I'm just thinking, and again, I don't want to take over anything, so, but I was just thinking that one thing that could be difficult is being able to meet all the officers, because obviously they work different shifts. Obviously, there's calls that take place where the officers wouldn't be able to be there. But again, I don't know if there were other options along this walk or this meetup time or something? And what if it wasn't always the officer standing there? I mean, is it forbidden to have a picture of the officer? Or, I mean, so in some cases, like, I'm just trying to think, like, if we end up where you don't get to, but if we're trying to meet, at least, know it. I mean, I worked for the city of Fairview years ago, and I knew some of the police officers because they had a day shift and they sometimes popped into the main office. I did paperwork and I knew names of ones, but I had no idea what they looked like because they worked the night shift and I never saw them.
Maybe even like a meet and greet, and we could do several different times of days. So like you could have one for the moms that are at home with their kids in the morning, and it'd be like a coffee meet and greet or something, and we could have one in the evening, and it's, I mean, you could schedule a couple different things, different times.
Maybe many different ones, not like one event, but maybe little events.
So it doesn't want to be like a big hole, you know, everybody's got jobs and things going on other than this, but
Well,
just like.
because it could be that even on this mom's walk or whatever with kids, or I'm sure there's some dads involved, there maybe could be.
Police officer, yeah.
That's exact, you could make it, hey, we're gonna walk with officer, get the name and date and time, and you make that part of the record. And then you have an opportunity to not only meet the officer, but you get a chance to
Because I know that there has to be possibilities. I mean, you know, for our Special Olympics event at the school, we have some Gresham police officers and fire and stuff, and they all show up. I mean, not all of them, but there's some that show up, and we had a comfort dog for a little bit too and stuff, and you know, handing out the stickers and all sorts of stuff like that. And so there's, you know, getting that interaction in for positivity and stuff like that too, so it's good. I was just thinking in regards to, if it was a walk or something, what are some other things that could be offered up at that same time? So like a talk about something like,
The
the
cadets.
stuff that Victoria's talking about, or
I'm gonna be negative again, sorry.
I know what you're gonna say.
I don't think a walk is necessary, especially if we're having the town hall, because everything that we're saying that we want to do with this walk, we're doing at the town hall.
Yeah, I think actually, what we just talked about, said a lot of little mini events. Well, that might be a bigger one, but
I'm not done. Multnomah County, Gresham Fire, our Portland Public Fire, they're all running on
0, I know.
So to get police and fire out to a lot of mini events is not going to happen. You may get them out to one big event. And then they usually have someone designated for the schools. I don't know if they still do. When I was teaching, I was easily able to get them, but that was a long time ago, so. I just think they can't be stretched to have many events. I mean, it'd just be too hard. I don't think we need many events, maybe quarterly different events.
Well, yeah, that would be.
Like, we're down at First Friday, we're doing town hall, like we're saying we might do that every year. And if we do it right, you're right, it's gonna be as good as a night out. I don't know, it's just gonna be hard to get people.
I appreciate what you're saying there. I do think, though, like, if we talk about this group that's, you know, meeting for their play date or whatever it is, I don't know how it actually works, but you know, let's say it is. We see in our reports that they have little community policing or whatever they, you know, tick off that time that the sheriff does. And it's true, it might not, we can't call in fire because that's probably within the staff, but I would suspect that they could drop in for a little bit of time It wouldn't be a huge amount, but instead of making it be big, and it is, like, you pop in on something and you walk around, you meet it, and you create excellent public relations.
Yes.
And, you create connections with kids if you're at this, little thing, whatever that's
Play
going
date.
on.
It's a play
Yeah,
date.
play date. Okay, fine, we're calling it that, but I was gonna say, I think that that's great, and I do think that there's probably, some other things that could happen and again, the thing is, we always want to create goodwill in all community, but sometimes at some of these events that we talk about, tabling and that kind of stuff, there's a lot of people from elsewhere, and so sometimes we're not creating the same kind of community in those events. Whereas so at even these walking things, there could be people from elsewhere, but the sheriff is the county.
Right.
So I've been to a community meeting with the lieutenant from Gresham. He did a talk and questions and answers, did an excellent job. The lieutenant's a natural. I know he's not our lieutenant, but that kind of thing can work out well. And then so many people today are teaching the young people to be afraid of our emergency responders. And that's just a terrible thing. So having even the kids meet them and talk with them about what their concerns are, and maybe some safety tips and so forth, it's not a bad idea, community engagement, if you can do it, right? I know, different officers have different personalities, but just like I mentioned, Lord Gresham had some great speakers. I bet Monoma County does too. I would be surprised if they don't.
Our other problem is our relationship with Multnomah County right now.
Well, we you know what, it is what it is. I mean,
Gresham would be easier because we still have a 3-year contract. We can opt out, but right now, everything.
well, it's a little bit rough, but we could still end up.
Their budget's cut horrible.
Yeah.
We're thinking of not having them anymore. I'm just trying to be realistic about it.
Oh, yes. So it might be kind of what you're saying, I get it.
We can have, Nick would probably stuck on it.
Yeah, but honestly, I get it. It's probably a little bit hard right now, but there is also there is the possibility that it might be a stretch for us to do, so we could have the sheriff for.
I agree with you on kids not having respect. That's why I'm so happy when the resource officers are put at the school.
Oh, yeah.
The kids really have a lot of respect for them. But I don't know.
Well, just an idea. What if we if it happens to work out, we find out if this is an okay thing to do, but the next scheduled little walk, or if Nick happens to be in the area, that might show up at one of these events. You can't, because he could have calls, but he could be out on a little community relations things, pop in and meet some kids, talk to them a little bit, meet the parents, whatever, or whoever's on this walk. We could just try it out and see if we could.
This is Frank. I wasn't thinking like with our current setup, I was looking at more towards future, like Troutdale police.
Okay.
So I wasn't even thinking of Multnomah County, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm thinking more when we have our.
Well, I thought that, but if we,
County is still police.
Nick is our
They're
community
still, Multnomah
guy,
County's still gonna be
and he's a
responsible
great
for it.
guy, and it would still be the figure. Maybe he ends up. I hope you come to work if we start up our own police department, Nick, you come to work for us. But at any rate, no matter what, it's meeting law enforcement and finding out they're not scary and they're nice, and they, you know what, just follow the rules and you won't get in trouble with them, so.
That's a very good point.
It's still,
But
maybe it might not be their officer, I mean, ours in the future, maybe there'll be other faces to learn, but in the meantime, maybe.
Yeah. So Multnomah
Hey,
County.
hey, this is Nick right here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
It's funny you guys bring that up. So just to give you an example, I was doing a traffic grant here about 2 weeks ago in Troutdale and stopped multiple cars, and most people did not get issued citations for the reasons they were stopped. And every person that I stopped who had a child in their car, I carry a stack of our Multnomah County patches in our car, and I actually gave every one of the kids a patch on every single traffic stop rather than issuing a citation. And the kids were excited, the parents were excited, and it was just kind of a cool deal.
I'm gonna get a ticket.
Can't imagine why.
That is like the ultimate amazing community policing.
That is right there.
That's the goal, because I think you have to remember that different types of people interact with police differently, so they have different experiences.
Yes.
So part of our equity is we need to also discuss that, and not just kids are taught to hate cops, you know? There is different experiences amongst everybody, but I love that.
Yes.
And that's the point that I'm getting at with this, so.
Maybe we could meet Nick for lunch.
Nick, can you promise that the next time you pull me over, you'll just give me a
Yeah, I just want a badge.
Actually, if I speed through town, will I get a patch? That's a question.
Yeah.
So regardless of what the nameplate is on the door, right? And you say whether we start our own police or whether we don't, we're still with Monoma County. We want to see law enforcement do well.
Yes.
Whether it's city law enforcement at the city next door to us or the county, you want to see them do well. And I think it is concerning that there's some budget concerns within the Monoma County Sheriff. And part of that is public support, right? How much money gets allocated is a political decision. And so how much support do you have amongst the community? I'd almost say all the more reason why we should be engaging, right? Because we want all the officers to do well.
So,
It kind of sounds like at this point, the community walk is a great idea for when we get our own police force. But for now, maybe the things that we're talking about is if they're able to come to the town hall and we can do some sort of meet and greets with maybe Nick and another police officer just to have them there, and then maybe look at something a little bit more in depth once we have our own Troutdale department. That's kind of what I'm hearing.
Because, I mean, certainly Burton, the comfort dog, you know, you can call and you can see if the comfort dog can come to meet, and it creates great, and that's part of the purpose of that comfort dog, not the only purpose, but, I mean, because I know I just call Officer Anderson or I email him and I say, can you bring Tag over sometime? The Gresham police dog and comfort dog, and we work out a schedule and he drops by for a bit.
so maybe we
Everybody's
need to
some
try
happy
to make
juice.
that happen for one of these walks.
Yeah, actually, that would be an easy add because we had dog walkers as well as kids. So.
So maybe we should work on that one right there, try to get the comfort.
She lives in Troutdale too.
Oh, she did, oh, yeah, okay, I
Good
was,
PR, that's for sure.
And the only thing is there might, I mean, like Marley might say, well, she has to have enough notice to let people know they're signing up for, you know.
but he said that they sign up on the spot.
They sign up on the spot.
They can also sign up on the spot.
They can, I mean, like maybe she advertises that Burton's gonna be there or something. Well, let's face it, that's how we got people to our public safety meeting. Burton was coming.
That might pull, yeah.
I mean, for the community walk.
Maybe we should do a meeting on the wall.
For a community walker, like, even if it was to meet and greet with those kids.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Frank, we did our meeting and we had Burton here.
Yeah, we had
and
Burton.
and that's when Tiffany came.
Yeah.
We ended earlier.
That'd be Molly, I just wanted to write down.
Oh, Marley.
For recreation, okay.
For Molly, yeah.
The 8-year-old boy inside me is excited about meeting Burton.
You could do like get a picture with the dog kind of thing.
Yeah, get a
Oh,
picture.
yeah.
Yes.
People have pictures. pictures.
Yeah.
You're brainstorming some good stuff. I mean,
If I could get a picture, I'd post it on the wall.
Honestly, I have a stuffed tag and a picture of tag framed, and then the kids come over.
Honestly, do we know when the next walk is, or is it end now for summer? I don't know. If
no, it's next month.
Oh, they have one every month now, it's gonna.
Yeah, so Anna's pretty much coordinating the walks. Molly's taking care of it, like some of the other stuff. So Anne's the point of contact for the walks.
Okay, so what about you guys? If we can arrange Burton to be there, or if we can arrange for Nick to stop by, one of the two, if something could work out, maybe if you guys think that's a good idea? We pursue that? Let's pursue that.
Low-hanging fruit.
Mind you, Nick used to be Troutdale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll buy him a burrito.
Do we offer any first aid training or babysitting?
So cute.
Babysitter training, yes.
Yes, it's,
I'm gonna take a picture for
Can you
you.
see
Used to
that?
do CPR. I don't know, and that's a
I
first aid,
remember, yeah.
like,
Yeah.
the Red Cross typically does that. But Molly would be the person to talk to about the rec training.
Same
I always wondered, we always see the Gresham Fire Department getting food in downtown Troutdale, and I've often wondered, because I talked to them at lunch. It's like, boy, this would be a great opportunity for public engagement.
The fire department, I don't know if it's Portland or Gresham or who, but at the Costco. Like, there's always a group of them at Costco. What are you guys getting?
Yeah.
Going.
It could be awkward. Yeah.
okay, so, any more final thoughts right now for our public safety walk or stuff? We'll move on. I'm gonna move on to for the town hall.
Sounds like
Yeah.
it's a concert.
Might catch on.
It's like Marley when she runs the Troutdale Trot. Troutdale does.
It's an abbreviation, we'll say T-Hall in the fall, you gonna be there?
Exactly it. Okay, well, I think CAC has an idea that we would have a table there, and we might have materials or electronic way for people, if it's QR codes or whatever. But that's probably, I think there's a lot of stuff we could do there. Totally think there's a lot of stuff. And then, of course, putting together, or actually that's probably going to be Mike, but I still think if there's anything that we should put together for the police and fire when we know more from the work group, when we have, unless Mike presents, but I think, I don't know, I don't actually know what all, but I just think we have to talk about police and fire and make it as clear what we know at that point to the public, as much as we can make clear to the public about costs, about options. I think that's just as much as we know. Maybe it still won't be enough, but it's better to give them as much information. And I'm sure, like I said, their thought CAC was that the city manager would talk about what's going on with fire and EMS stuff. I think maybe, I don't think we said that specifically last night, because I think, I don't really remember what they said on that. So, but as far as our education materials and flyers, I just think there's a lot there that we can do. We've talked about neighborhood watches. If we did a little bit more research on what those materials potentially look like to help people get engaged with that idea. No matter what, they only work if you got at least one person and maybe several others sort of interested in the neighborhood. If people are not, you can do all you want. It's like pushing a freight train uphill. It ain't gonna happen.
I've been researching neighborhood watches, and they are considered outdated now. And some of the cities because of people's feelings, which I don't sort of agree with, that are excluding people or taking even the signs down. But they're mainly outdated because of technology. And a lot of people don't want people sort of nosing in on it. Although our neighbors, I mean, when we all go on vacation in our neighborhood, we always tell each other, you know, I'm gone. If anybody comes, you're not supposed to be here. You know, that's our sort of neighborhood watch. But I don't know if you can get people to do that now.
Well, perhaps like pointing out the fact that there's this Nextdoor app, so in your neighborhood, you can kind of be plugged into what's going on. You plug into all the other people that are kind of trying to watch out. At least before, when I looked up neighborhood watches a while ago, it kept pointing at that technology, so many people going to Nextdoor, and that's how people kind of look out.
Nextdoor has a lot of good points, but it has a lot of bad points too. I remember when where my daughter lives, one of the kids was sort of having in the neighborhood was sort of having a mental breakdown. Well, on Nextdoor, they made it out like he was almost a murderer, and they sort of scared everybody.
Okay, so that's not safe.
So I will say, I think that app for who's allowed to be in the group, you know, whoever's managing it is probably the key that's, you know, administrating it or whatever. And I would say that I suspect in the best case scenario, it's more of watching out for stuff. I still wouldn't be inclined on a Nextdoor app to say, hey, I'm going to be out of town for the next 4 weeks, you know, keep an eye on my place or something like that. I feel like that's an invitation.
Right, that is.
So, I mean, I do believe that in that regard, it's more of so I appreciate in the avenue of people who might be on it, and sometimes it's too many people on it. It's like the neighborhood now became all of South Gresham, including, you know, a certain part. I mean, just like this huge amount. And it's like, yeah, that would be nobody keeping track of your stuff or kind of in your area. So I think maybe that could be a problem. I mean, I remember a package thief in our neighborhood and the next door neighbor's package being stolen, and then having a conversation with somebody at work who lives somewhere totally different. They're like, oh yeah, I heard on the app that there was somebody going through that neighborhood. And it's like, I mean, it's fine that somebody knows that stuff's going on, but it seems like, well, too many people might know in certain circumstance or whatever. So it's who gets to be involved. I can totally see that. But I also think that sometimes just creating a little bit of a community in an area that doesn't have that option or hasn't had made that connection, that might be the startings of something. Just it's a smaller group.
So if there's one person that's interested, actually one person that wants to drive and check with the neighbors, that'll help that. And if those other neighbors are a little receptive,
Yeah.
that helps. Just like all of us knowing our neighbors, you know what, the ones that are more willing to chat and seem to be more open, those are the ones you like meeting versus the ones that are, close the blinds as soon as they see you.
Well, and I think the point of the neighborhood watch isn't necessarily like us tracking anything with that, but it's more so as to be like, here's a resource that we can hand out so that you can create a community within your own neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's the safety. So I think what we need to do at this town hall meeting is have a bunch of resources available. So like, how do you create a neighborhood watch? Frank has had several resources that he's talked about in these meetings about, you know, who to give to the homeless community that we have here, like how to direct them. So if you're out in a park and you're being, you know, approached by somebody in that community, what do you do? Things like that, I think would all be great for public safety and for a town hall booth.
Yeah, I totally think that's exactly what I think, is that we can have resources, point and try to encourage, but we can't make those things happen, but we can give the information.
Yeah, I'm gonna say also, We might not know grant availability on everything, you know, like, but it could be, even if we have signups and it could be electronically, maybe keeping track, it doesn't have to be a clipboard necessarily, signing up the information. But like, if you might be interested in, you know, like, cert class or whatever, or if you might be, and you were just mentioning something and I didn't hear the answer to before about babysitter. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like, is that something that's offered or where is it offered?
Through the Rex program, I see it every time.
Okay.
I read that.
But like pushing that kind of stuff out too.
Yeah.
American Red Cross, and it's $300.
That's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot for a kid if a kid wants.
$300, this stuff's for a 12-year-old. What?
Well, it's
They
because.
gotta get a job.
You don't even have to do
They can't get it.
compression. You charge more for compression?
Wow.
Hey, this is Nick. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah,
So I told you guys a while back I was starting to work with Portland on this kind of quasi neighborhood watch deal. I've met with them multiple times over the last few months because they're trying to partner up with the sheriff's office and Gresham and obviously Portland themselves. And they're creating like an outline. They call it as of right now, the name for it is the Portland Playbook, but they're going to change the name of it. It's basically taking place of the neighborhood watch program. And right now they're kind of compiling all the information that we have, what Gresham has, and what they have as far as resources that are available to the community. And we're basically just piecing this stuff together as we go and creating this program for like basically community outreach, crime prevention, neighborhood watch types related stuff, and stuff like that. So we are currently working on that with the sheriff's office right now. There's a bunch of hands involved in this, so it's not like a super fast process because there's a lot of entities involved in this process, but we are currently working on that right now.
Is that something that you guys have a target on when you plan to like wrap that document up?
The crime prevention group in Portland, their goal is to have this up and going by the end of the year.
Okay, so well, that would be great. We could have that resource available at our town hall. That would be
Amazing.
awesome. Yeah.
So, and I've been working closely with her and her partner. I just met with them, I believe it was about 2 weeks ago, and they had a bunch of questions for me that I didn't know the specific answers to. So now we got the public information officers involved on it, and they're going to meet with them as well and try to hammer through some things as they piece this together. So as it gets closer into the summer, they were wanting to do some more like, community outreach engagement stuff in the Portland area, because that's obviously where it's based out of. But they had also asked us if we could try to assist them and come up with an area that might be in our patrol areas where we could possibly do something with them. So we're currently working on that right now.
Okay. That's fabulous. We'll just we might be asking you for an update on that periodically.
As of right now, I don't know where it's at in the process. I know they did reach out to our PIOs and they've been in communication with one another. So once that step is figured out, then they'll probably come back to me and then we'll meet up again. So I'm guessing we'll probably meet up again here in the next month or so.
Okay. I'm gonna probably ask you questions on it. I might skip next month, but maybe I won't.
I need to correct myself. I was looking up a lot of classes. Babysitting's $99. I was looking up a bunch on the Red Cross. I forget much of it.
I know inflation is bad, but wow.
99 is bad, but wow.
Yeah.
I was having none.
Still, it's a lot if you're a kid. If you're a kid, but
I'm curious though if there's, it is a lot and I know we have no money, but I'm curious if there's a way for us to create like a tiny little fund of, if you want to be a babysitter, you can apply for this little tiny grant, you can do it for free. I don't know, that would be cool to keep on our equity
I'm
side.
sure that isn't an option.
Or if we could probably even get donations from the community. It's $100 to have like a tiny little equity fund, be like, these kids can't afford it. Let's help them out. That is the equity side of this too.
Like a GoFund for, not GoFund, but in a sense, for scholarships for.
Yeah, donate for a scholarship for a kid to get a babysitting gig or training.
I did want to add, I don't know which grant they use, but I live in Gresham and I live in the Northwest neighborhood. And they do every quarter in our park, they do basically a community event for the neighborhood. And there's some food, not expensive food, but like snacks. Gresham police officers come, just a handful. Talk about public safety, there's like some entertainment, there's music, and it's mostly covered by a grant that they apply for each year. So that's another option that we wouldn't be doing that, but we could show them the steps in how to do that for themselves. And each neighborhood association would at least have the knowledge from this group to how to bring their neighborhood together, and Multnomah County deputies or our own police department or whatever timing it is and whoever we're with could attend as well and maybe give safety information as well.
So is this, you were saying it's your neighborhood association?
It's my neighborhood. I know they use a grant. I'm not on their committee. I just live in the neighborhood and I enjoy the event. And I've asked them and they said, yeah, it's some donations from the neighborhood, but mostly, because they take donations at each event. But it's primarily the grant, but I don't know which grant that is, so I'd be happy to find out if you would like.
I think that would be great, because that would be something we could also provide at our town hall. Is there are ways that you can, maybe other neighborhood associations do this. The problem is I don't know how many. Do you remember, Frank? Do we have a lot of neighborhood associations in Troutdale? I'm thinking we don't. 0. So that's, I guess, okay, then.
This is a CAC, back to the CAC.
Yeah,
So we
CAC.
have no neighborhood associations, we have HOAs. Two totally different things.
Yeah, I have to ask, I don't know what the difference is.
A homeowners association versus a neighborhood association. So homeowners association is typically based on economic perspective, which means you have like rules, fees occasionally. There's some really good ones. I mean, we have one up at Sweetbriar, which is phenomenal. It's been there since the 70s. Then we have another one up at Cherry Park. So we have HOAs scattered, but we have no neighborhood associations.
Can I just ask, what would restrict one from applying on a grant based off of a certain area and having something? Is it because of accountability or?
So Troutdale, city of Troutdale actually has zoned areas, neighborhood
Yeah.
areas that are listed as neighborhood association areas. So you would be in this, I think I saw it on our survey actually, on the public safety survey. That's kind of how you.
We
We
just
group those our own
grouped,
way.
we found a map that had, and we said major arterials.
Troutdale actually has basically a neighborhood. It's usually based on the planning, based on the subdivisions that are installed, and then you have those divisions that become part of the neighborhood. Like you'll have Strawberry Meadows and Cherry Park.
Yeah, we heard.
Do you see where I'm going?
Yeah.
You see everything built at the same time, so it typically becomes Gresham has pretty much every district covered. I mean, they have one or two that aren't active, but they have probably 8 different associations.
So back to this though, is there anything that precludes the neighborhood itself, like, Strawberry Meadows, like doing something within Strawberry Meadows or whatever? Okay, they could still apply for a
Could they
grant.
apply for a grant? Because who are you, if you get grant money?
You see, that's where does it come into a 401 or the what's the phrase, the 501?
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
Yeah,
you have
we
to
were
come
talking about
into
this.
an organization,
Right.
not to a person.
Yeah.
Okay, and could it come into somehow related to the city and the city doles it back out, or it wouldn't be legal?
I don't think the city could do that.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's a question for our finance and for the city manager, but
Yeah.
I can inquire. I'm not sure.
Typically, when I talk to Marley about nonprofits, the city uses the nonprofits to raise funds that you can then donate to the city. if you have a nonprofit, we were talking about this at Parks the other day. We have a nonprofit organization that's got a project or area or whatever you want it to be, and then they become the money source that can pull in grants, can pull in, donations.
That's how we're doing the Beaver Creek Bridge.
Exactly. So that's how what Beaver Creek Watershed is nonprofit. So you can pull in funding, you can include them on your grant application, which is usually a plus when you apply for grants. So if you have nonprofits that are also part of the community, that adds to the grant being accepted. So that helps the city as well. But you don't see the city funding like coming out of general funds. That's not in the budget, so that's different.
Friends of Strawberry Meadows.
Yeah.
So then do we want to be promoting neighborhood watches versus neighborhood associations? See how you
I mean, we talked about this a little earlier. I think maybe that's where I was getting a disconnect, was where the two come together. And honestly, you could look at public safety as the impetus to start a neighborhood association. You could look at it, flip it, and actually look at it from maybe public safety is the motivator to get neighborhood associations in these areas.
So what does a neighborhood association do?
I looked up the definition.
Yeah.
Says a neighborhood association is a voluntary organization of residents, business owners, and stakeholders within a specific geographical area who work together to improve communities' quality of life. They focus on advocacy, safety, community events, and representing local interests to city officials rather than enforcing private property rules.
So that's probably why we have all these committees, because we don't have any neighborhood associations to try to emphasize stuff with the city.
That last key part, rather than,
Enforcing private property rules, which would be more HOA.
That's HOA.
Okay, HOAs.
yeah, that might be something that's,
That might be something for us to do a
know what a
little
neighborhood
bit.
association
yeah.
was. So that's new, that's cool.
I didn't realize Troutdale did not have neighborhood associations because I usually live in Gresham.
So I think the whole idea of maybe promoting that idea and what could come of that
Pretty good.
might make some people go, well,
You don't have as many
I
committees.
need form one, you guys. I mean, I don't know.
I think the trick though would be
Is it
really
costly to form?
focus, yeah, all those things scoped out on how it impacts people or whatever, because there might be some people that push back that think that somehow I'm belonging to the association and I might be sacrificing some of my own, yeah.
But I mean, again, I wonder if that's what we want to focus on, is the education part of
Yeah.
that for.
Yeah, that's what I think is like finding what well, I mean, really looking at pros and cons of it all. I mean, just like really being perfectly transparent rather than having an agenda of something and pushing something that might not be the greatest, I don't know, but. I'm just gonna add something, but I kind of feel like a town hall in the fall in October, it's less, about safety at this point, but I do think within that scope, if we were doing it earlier on, we would have maybe a little video running or something that we would get from fire about defensible space, fire ready.
But they are working on, Dakota told us last night at our meeting that there's a grant that they've applied for that's gonna allow for, and they applied for this grant for the Sandy Palisades area, so I believe that is, I think that was the only area that they were talking about, but they applied specifically for signage for evacuations, not defensible space. I don't believe they talked about that. So yes, you're right, we could.
I mean, I just think that it does come up, and I just love it that Smokey has been back on TV lately.
We have a Smokey the Bear costume, they should come to town hall.
Okay, I told
The
them.
Troutdale fish, Smokey the Bear, I don't know, how do we do that? Sorry, I think I'm getting loopy
I'm a
now.
big fan of smoked salmon.
Smoked salmon, how do we make that a mascot for not fire?
That's right.
Oh my God. Okay, you guys, these are, there's lots more literature stuff. I don't want to get too late before I want to make sure we get to do Frank's presentation, but let me also say that Twyla had done that Adopt a Block, and I think we should provide information, a link to that, even though it might be in the oh, but hey, listen, still adopting a block and taking care of it or whatever.
That's kind of happening now. I'm one of those guys that wanders around town. We have people walking around with trash cans every day, picking up stuff. It's crazy.
But there is officially the adopt a block, if you officially say, then.
Yeah, so Portland has really taken adopt a block to a whole other level.
Right, I believe that I think I looked it up, I think it did start in Portland and it's spread out to other areas, and we have a handful of ones in our area, so it's good. So, but I believe that, educating about that. And then emergency preparedness kit thing, you guys said it was available on the website. I did find it, it's down a lot of paths, so I thought some of these things that are hard to find, I think it'd be great if we had a QR code for that for people to find it, so they don't have to try to find these things. Not that I'm saying that the city's website isn't. It's just that there's so much information there, and to try to sift through what you want. So I think some of these things, doing it a QR code would be good. Go ahead, Tony.
Molly arranged it, but Ray had one every year. In person.
Oh, no,
Emergency.
emergency.
Emergency preparedness.
They do it every 2 to 3 years.
Is it 2 or 3 now?
County Emergency Management. And Ray did present with Alice. That's why with this last one, they did a full video production, full recording, because we had grant for that. And we partnered with Wood Village Fairview, and then we have the emergency kits, which are still available, but it sounds like you have to go through a lot of paths.
Well, it's just down a lot. I just went searching for it one day, and I said, there's too many things to tell people to go. I mean, we could write out the steps, but maybe.
I found it on YouTube before I found it on Troutdale.
Okay.
It's on YouTube, as well.
So at any rate, I just think if everybody, maybe whatever you can come up with, or whatever you can just begin to gather these materials and put together, and if you want to draft up something, feel free, because I think that this is too much for us to probably do in a meeting. So I just think if we all just do what we can, find out what resources, things, bring it, and we'll beginning to pull together what we think we're going to present at that town hall, or what materials we might have available, how to present it best. I don't know. Might end up combining some sheets, I don't know, of ideas. So how's that sound to you guys? Okay, so let's move on to agenda item number 9. And this is Frank. Remember we asked him to do this? He's been busy writing. I will.
So you're already in share mode, right?
I'm not now. I have to go find that document here.
So I can give a quick while you're pulling it up. So we talked about coming up with an article for the champion concern. There's a lot of concerns about kids with helmets and then mobility. The timing couldn't be better. We just had some legislative action happen at the short session that changed a lot of the rules, or some of the rules. Some of them to our benefit. So, however, the articles for, if we're looking at the schedule, July, August, September, we do 6-1. So I can submit for July, August, and September, which would work for the summer months. So I wrote 2 sections. One is the first rough draft, which basically talks about the safety approach, which focuses on helmets, but also involves the e-mobility side of it. And I'm very specific on the definitions, because defining what we're talking about is part of the issue, and it gets really complicated, especially when you start talking about e-bikes and e-mobility and micro-mobility. And there's a whole bunch of different things out there and different products that people look at and they go, is that a motorcycle? Is that an e-bike? It has pedals, that makes it an e-bike. That's not the case. So the legislative action, a lot of my research was focused on really defining that. So I ended up with 2 articles by the time I got done.
Yeah,
So I had, this first one is what we focused on, but it kind of led into the next one, which is the questions I always get asked if you, next article. So this is all about helmets and the research I did on helmets. The quick references, if you want to look at that, and some of the basic rules that go along with helmet use and how we use it. Who gets the ticket was is new to me. I didn't realize that. So if you're age 11 or under, the parent or legal guardian is gonna get the ticket, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so that's, Paul, did you catch that one? See you awake. Yeah, so if you're in a neighborhood and you're seeing kids out and about and they're not wearing their helmets, potentially just be aware. Yeah. And then I liked how it placed responsibility on the older kids, so they would be the ones getting the ticket, which is an interesting, or citation. And don't forget, the citation is progressive. It's not to punish, it's to instill behavior.
But you said if they buy a helmet.
If they buy a helmet, then the citation will be, ticket citation would be basically voided. So it's a progressive technique, and obviously just. So the enforcement works pretty well. I think Oregon has really done a good job with the helmet use. The 16 and under is still the same. That applies for everything. A lot of people are like, no, if you're on a scooter, then it doesn't. If you're on this, it doesn't apply. If you're on this, it applies across the board. So that's something Oregon was really good on.
If you're on public property.
If you're on public property. If you're on private property, it's all on you. Which makes for some interesting rules, especially with motorcycles and other things. So e-bikes in Oregon. So recent legislation just came out. We're approaching the 90-day point where we implemented. We had a change in the use of e-bikes. So a Cat 1 can be utilized by a 14-year-old, which is basically your freshman in high school.
Before it was 16?
Before it was 16.
Okay.
So what it did is it restricted kids getting to and from school. Parents are like, so they were basically riding illegally, but they were still using. Hood River is a great example of that. So I talked to Megan Ramey, who's the safe routes to school person out there, and she filled me in on the reality was we had a bunch of 14-year-olds basically using e-bikes that were illegal. But everyone just shrugged and went, what do you do?
So is that the one who sponsored the bill, someone out of Hood River, because they knew this was happening?
No, actually, so this came actually from the Street Trust, which is a statewide group, and is focused on, they're trying to change the phrase from e-mobility to micro-mobility, so that we're defining it so that once we define it, then we can legalize it. Does that make sense? So once I put the definition at the beginning of my legal definition, then it'll say, this is an e-bike, class 1, class 2, class 3. This is a scooter, this is a 1, and all of the rules apply for all of those. And that happened at the short session. So now we have clear guidance on what is and what isn't appropriate.
Is that diagram at the?
Yeah, so that's the diagram. That's one of the old, but, so that'll be updated. We'll be seeing ODOT kicking out a whole new bunch of videos and stuff.
Here's that thing.
So the timing's really good.
So I think based on, you need to have us say if we think your article should go the way it is, or I'm trying to understand.
So my question for you is, we could start with the one article. I could give them both articles at the same time and ask them what they think is more appropriate. Or we could just go with one for the summer and another one in the fall. That's an option too.
I feel like you're talking the exception, right?
Where it says article, yeah.
Okay, no, I think it's because we're not talking about speed limit in these. We're not talking about,
We are indirectly.
yeah, there's some that are
Because of
crafts.
the definition of what I'm talking, this is where defining the term determines the speed limits for each item.
Okay,
If you get into the weeds, and that's why I did the references, you will have a lengthy amount of reading that will tell you each category for the e-bike, how fast they go, if they have a throttle or not have a throttle, and what their max speed is, and their power output as well.
okay, I'm just trying to think, if I was the person reading the article, and I just had said, oh, I've got this kid that keeps buzzing through my neighborhood,
Yep,
and he's on the sidewalk.
I had that in there actually.
Yeah, no, I know, I saw it, and I was just thinking, it's like, is there ever a time when you say, oh, it's it's okay for the e-bike to be on the sidewalk in a residential neighborhood.
Officially,
Yeah, officially.
on the sidewalk, no. E-bikes are not allowed officially. Maybe in the future they can change that, but at this time, no. So anything that's in the micro-mobility realm is not allowed.
So even then, if it's really a little mini bike and I just don't know the difference?
That's the thing, yeah, because we have so many new products out there. You're looking at products that you don't know.
I do actually have a little kid that sometimes comes buzzing down.
Paul Wilcox has a number of kids that come buzzing
And
down.
when I say little kid, I mean the kid might be like 6 or 8 years old.
Oh, wow. Does he have a helmet, I hope?
You know, maybe some of the time he does, but mostly I feel like he's up on the sidewalks and then he's down and it's like he's so little, it's.
So I think in the future, you're gonna see legislation that's gonna probably change the current rule. Residential sidewalks will apply to the powered micromobility as well.
They will be allowed to be on the sidewalk?
Eventually, but at this point, we're not there yet, so. And the concern is obviously, we don't have any control over manufacturing right now. So we have all these products coming out that don't have any limits on speed, don't have limits on battery size, don't have limits on where the batteries come from. And they're cheap, people are buying them. So you've got parents that don't know, it's a misinformation campaign really. So that was part of the legislation, and I highlighted that on page, if you look at one of the sections, there's one section highlighted on the legislative on page. Yeah, so this is where you could utilize this committee to make a recommendation to the council on how we want to see our paths and trails and areas utilized with local ordinances.
Okay, so this sounds like this is gonna be a subject for us to
Yeah.
read a little bit more on and
Yeah.
discuss.
And that's, I'm just tip of the iceberg. This is just a general.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I will say that at this point, not legal to be on sidewalks.
Correct, for electric, yeah.
So I almost feel like those kinds of things is a thing to again, it doesn't mean that the person doing it's gonna be reading the article.
Right.
But I feel like there might be some that have kids that think it's safer for them to be on the sidewalk as
I agree.
opposed to being on the street. And I look at it and I go, wow, you just wrongly backing out and somebody's buzzing along pretty fast.
So it sounds like this needs to be a big education campaign on our part.
Yeah, it was so like getting something in the, like little things
Yeah.
or like, and the thing is, it's pretty
Article,
champion, but
to read it, so that's why we gotta do it. I think
The other
at
is
a
where
time.
it's
Yeah.
so Oregon Department of Transportation will be doing a campaign as well. So they'll be doing videos, and I mean, if you guys have seen some of the latest videos they kicked out a couple of years back, they'll be doing their own campaign to bring people up to speed on the information that's currently now. Since we defined it, now we can make, this is legal, this is illegal. These are the, and another big thing is the fact that, like if I go up to Troutdale Bike Shop, I just talked to Jack who owns the shop the other day. He had a parent and their child come in, and the child went, I want an e-bike. What he actually wanted was an e-moto. An e-moto is a motorcycle that you may have a pedals on it, that is set up with 3,000 watts on each wheel, and it can go up to 32 plus miles per hour. And Jack just looked at her and went, I don't sell e-motos, I sell e-bikes, Cat 1, Cat 2, and Cat 3. That's my legal requirement. I'm not going to sell you that. So the legislation made that actually illegal and they could be fined. So this is all opening the door to start restricting the sale of some of these items from that aspect, so.
Wow, I feel like this is just a can of worms we've just
I
opened up here.
know, you sent me down what was basically a spiral, but
Can I make a suggestion and then just kill it if you guys think it's a bad idea? I feel like in the
Yes.
champion, you're killing it or you're saying yes, my
yes,
idea is
whatever
great?
you're coming up with.
Okay, no, you better not do that. You're gonna hand over $100 million.
Okay.
I'm just kind of thinking in the Troutdale Champion, maybe instead of just like an article, just kind of bleh on the page, maybe it says something like, did you know? Or something, and then it's like, if like this, all whatever it is, all bicycles under this age
Yeah.
have to wear a helmet. And then maybe it's a, did you know? Or it's some other thing like that illegal to be on sidewalks or something. A couple of things or whatever. And then you can, you know.
It's the gradual rather than burying them in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, and then it's okay, like maybe if it's out there or maybe there's a connector to more information on the Troutdale website. And I'm not saying that maybe there is reason to put a little bit more background information after it, but more like just like, hey, notice this or notice this. And then it kind of like hits and then you might go in.
I would agree.
Okay,
That's why.
that was a
You
yes.
just gave me a perfect lead in. So if you go to the end where I have a picture of an individual,
I saw that one.
this is where I took that concept. Basically asked the question, is this,
Oh, yeah.
well, that's the passing one, but, so that's the same idea though. So you take one item and just go, hey, did you know, this is how you pass. It's simple, it's straight, it's a single one-liner. You pop it into the champion, it's informational. That's it. And it gives a reference to, if you want to go to the ODOT video, you can go watch the video. That's it, it's simple. Simple, basic, and we could do this like every champion.
I think that sounds like we should, with all of this exploding out, that sounds like a great idea. We should have that
So if
every.
you slide that back to the e-bike one, a good friend of mine lives up on 8th Street. He came to me with this bike, his son bought it for him. So if you go back one more.
It's actually in the picture,
There's a
right?
picture, yeah.
Looks like this.
Oh, yes.
So this is an 82-year-old fella who's helping out with parks. He's like helping with the Helen Althus up on 8th. So he actually goes out and cuts blackberries and does all sorts of stuff in the park. And he goes, my son bought me this great e-bike. And I just looked at him and went, dude, I'm not hard to tell you, but that's illegal. It's not an e-bike. That is an e-moto, which is a totally different classification. He has 3,000 watts on each wheel. He's like, well, I can still pedal it. So he turned everything off. It weighs 80 pounds.
Yeah.
And he tried pedaling it. And I'm like, you got the wrong bike. You just got sold up the wrong.
So it's totally illegal to have one or?
Only if someone, this is where enforcement comes in. And we're not at the enforcement level. And we don't even have a Troutdale police. We can't write tickets for parking, for mistakes. So for me, it's like, dude, if you're on the trail, just be safe. Go 8 miles an hour. If you're in, around people, use your own. And he's wicked safety orientated. He has kids and grandkids. So, but basically the marketing is what got sold. And he likes motorcycles. This is the next best thing. And yeah, so now we have kids down in the park that are utilizing these e-motos for their off-road riding, basically. And because it has pedals, it's legal. And it's like, no, it's not.
Doubles in the details, right?
And the cost was, I think it was $1,200. It may show it on the references, but.
Wow,
So you can just look at as you look at it. So this is our actual classifications for what is an e-bike in Oregon. So class 1 is pedal assist only. What's the max speed? 20 miles per hour. Yeah.
Is the max it'll go without the pedal and you could pedal it and make it faster or?
You can pedal it as hard as you want, but the max that the pedal assist will work is 20 miles an hour. It cuts off. So I can pedal my regular bike faster than 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, but the pedal assist is basically just there to help. It's not there to speed you up.
Yeah.
And then the throttle one is the one that I'm still kind of concerned about. But again, you're stopping at 20 miles an hour and then it cuts off. So if you go over 20, you can hit the throttle all you want, but it's not going to make you go any faster. 28 and 30 seems to be like every safety expert. That's like the speed. Once you get past 28 to 30, that's when the stats go into high injury, high fatality rates. So that's why you're seeing those speeds and the max assisted speed. The key on that class 3, you have to pedal the whole time. There's no throttle, it's only pedaling. So it's pedal assist all the time. Yeah. And then you go into the age limits and when you have to wear a helmet. some of the rules for the state parks are different than federal parks. So you have off-road motor, what could be considered a mountain bike now, class 1, class 2, class 3. Some parks federal parks are saying no to class 2 and 3. They're saying no throttle, you can only use a class 1. Yeah. So everywhere you go, you got a different set of rules, and we don't have any consistency, and every state is even a little different. So this is where it gets really confusing.
Could you tell me, are you telling me that 3 is the one that if you're not pedaling, it won't go?
No, you'll still coast, but.
I'm just thinking, like when you ride Crater Lake, the rim, and you're going up a hill and somebody passes you and they're not pedaling.
That's a throttle.
Or, yeah, I know, believe me, I know.
That would be a car, typically, yeah.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say it's when it's close to cars, but yeah.
So the class 3, you have to pedal to use the pedal assist, the motor, basically. The other thing is the wattage is only 700 wattage, which is small. And if you go with what the new road bikes are getting, the pedal assist, it's only 400 watts, I think, which is just enough to like help older people. And this is where it's, for me, it's discouraging because it's my older generation that's really paying the price for this misinformation. Because I have my 80-year-olds on trikes that are just using a throttle because they're tired. It's a hill. It's like, I can't pedal up this hill. So I have a number of people I ride with from the trailer park that are, and they just want to get out. So, yeah.
So I just want to know, somebody under 16 or somebody 14 and older could own any of these?
Could own, but not legally.
Can't ride any of them?
14 can ride a class 1.
Just the class 1. Okay.
See, it's very confusing even after you.
This is why the one bite at a time idea is so much easier.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
And also, I just feel like some bullet points and they can have backup information, but you just have to give.
Yeah. Even
But
Paul,
I
I sent this to Paul as well, and he just went, "Wow, that's a lot."
How many words are we allowed in our article?
200. So that fits the 200.
Oh, the first one here?
Yeah, the first one does, and so does the second one.
Would it be possible maybe to put together a flyer too for our local like elementary and middle schools, I mean even high schools?
Actually, we're talking to Safe Routes to School about actually doing programs that are specific. I got a call from Pleasant Valley that just did one. So they did a Safe Routes to School e-bike focused. So it was focused on electronic. And then Hood River is 5 years ahead of us. They've been doing this for years. So.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So we have the benchmarks that are.
I'm wondering though if we do it before the end of the school year, since they're going to be summer and like a
We
safe.
actually, May 4th, or last week was when the Safe Routes to School walk and roll day.
Oh.
So we have specific dates throughout the year that Safe Routes to School has those events. We can pull in Safe Routes to School and they will take care of all the education. They'll bring in all the info. They'll bring out flyers and all the things for the kids. Yeah, the county runs that program, so.
Did that get cut though?
Safe Routes to School got cut in some ways, but not all. So
okay.
They got cut at the state level for capital projects, which means the safety aspect stuff that would have been built got cut. So that's not going to happen this year. It just got moved. But the actual educational aspect of it, them going to schools, we have our own Safe Routes to School rep. She works at Pear over on 141st and Stark. So she works with the Bike Hub over there. She goes to all of the schools. I see her in Gresham all the time. So we are heavily involved in Gresham. You just don't, Troutdale, you just haven't been there. So,
Well, maybe
you have to have buy-in from principals. You have to go through the school has a lot of barriers too. So.
Well, Gresham has hilly areas too. I was gonna say, do we have a lot of hilly areas? Maybe kids don't quite ride.
The first half of town.
No, I mean like Walmart is a great example of kids that bike to school. A lot of them bike to school. Reynolds, hardly none. It's like when you get to high school.
Well, we have a lot of them
A lot
from
of
out of the
busing.
area though. We have a lot of kids from outside.
Yeah, so they're coming all the way from 162nd in some cases.
Maybe even 148.
Yeah, further in. Yeah. Yeah, so, and Reynolds is not strategically located for Reynolds School District, up here in the corner in the school district.
Yeah.
Yeah, so busing is the focus. Usually talk safe routes to school.
Yeah, 8 buses through my neighborhood, by the way, 8.
Usually the ones going through Sherry's neighborhood.
Yeah, I already talked to Mike about that. So, while I'm thinking about that, Kimberly,
got a flag
let's
or
ask him again about the buses that are, he's working on the contact, so he's gonna, at Reynolds, because we need to get those buses not going down 22nd.
This right here is what we're doing.
Confirm your Mike's working on what with the buses?
Getting the buses that are leaving the high school that are
So I
just
put it at 8th
using a shortcut through the neighborhood right on the other side of the field from, what I understand, it's on 22nd. The buses are being forced out on 257th, heading south for just a block or two, going through the neighborhood all the way out to the other side.
It's
And
only
then
one
heading
line.
north and
So that's the
going
other
wherever they need
challenge.
to go in the district. And they should either take the main route up to Stark. They used to, before they made that exit out, they used to, I guess, come out on Cherry Park and would be able to go the direction they wanted. Now, they're all being forced. Not all of them, but a bunch of them are being forced out that one way.
It's just the reference at the bottom.
Okay,
The videos too, that's another option.
so does anybody, go ahead.
The difficulty in this is you've got everything from uplet speed to freeway speeds, and it's gradual. It's not like it's category that. Right? Parents don't know, we don't know. I do like that they have that
The chart, or,
12 to 15 are personally accountable.
yeah.
Because how many teenagers do you run into that you make them put on the helmet, they take off, and as soon as they get out of your sight, off it comes, right? Because, you know, hold them accountable for that.
Yeah. I've had videos of the kids doing circles down on the beach. I mean, I posted that, some of my videos of, it's like, hey man, kids are down having fun on the beach again, just doing circles with and these are motorized, gas operated, so, yeah, so.
I find that the classes is probably being
You got
the most important and where you can and cannot write.
Yeah. We're hitting the time.
Sorry.
Yes, no. So anyone else have any questions for Frank? Okay, then what are we doing for the champion? The deadline is 6/1, I think, for March.
June 1, so.
It's before our next meeting, so I love the idea of the little, did you know sorts of things, but do we also do the article? Or what do you think?
I'm a huge fan of hitting people over the head with stuff like this. Part of my job at work is internal communications, and the more I can hit people with information, the better.
One of them's
Because they're
gonna
still
stick.
not gonna have any idea, yeah.
One of them will stick somehow.
So something will stick, somebody will still be like, I didn't know.
Yes.
So as much as we can, I especially if it's a law and a safety thing.
Well, I like what we're saying, the state also emphasizes consistency applying same helmet rules across Oregon, treating e-bikes much like traditional bicycles. There, I'd probably put something in how, that says, well, however, if it's beyond this speed, then, it's not just an e-bike. Something that kind of clarifies that, at this time, you're getting beyond what is considered an e-bike. E-bike, scooter, or whatever. Is there some way where we can kind of where we can kind of like
Terminology
once you get
matters.
beyond this territory? No, you're not just a.
You're in the same place I was, where I had to write 2 articles, where it's like, do I focus on helmets or do I focus on e-mobility? 200 words is not a lot, so.
No.
Yeah.
I would say at the end of all the articles, one of our goals is to get more public in here and then so that we can, regulate this. So maybe putting a point in, it's like, if you have an opinion, come talk to us. And then put like our meeting times in there.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
It's something that goes right to the websites. Talk about us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Actually, I could even say you have to show up at the meeting.
They're losers.
go ahead, Victoria.
This goes along with community events too. A lot of different cities have a bike safety day. And usually it's somebody that owns a bike shop and they go out and they set up the cones and they teach the kids to ride safely. And we could add this to it too. It really doesn't cost anything.
A promotion for a local
I was
business.
gonna say promotion for the local business, if he wants to,
So I've already started communications with Troutdale Bikes about and pairs safe route to school. We did in North Portland, we actually did a community project with that. We're talking about Sharon Nesbitt being a benchmark for that, where we have an area set up to teach kids how to ride their bikes safely and with an actual certified instructor.
Cool.
They used it at the Community Cycling Center in Portland, which to huge effect. So we already have the benchmark. It's just a matter of getting the facility and having the bike shop involved, and then all the players come together. So it's in the work. It's just, it's going to take some time.
You know what, I love it. I know we think it's cool. I wonder how many people out there would say yes, or are we inventing a solution to a problem that doesn't need the solution to? Not disinformation, yeah, we already know it's a problem. But I just was thinking like, there are a lot of people that are wanting their kids to be taught how to ride a bike. I mean, maybe I just don't know it.
It's the safety aspect of it.
That's the safety.
They put cones out and they do all sorts of different things. Happy Valley Night Out had one.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If you go to, Gresham just built one at Wilkes. So if you go to the Wilkes Elementary School, we actually just finished a Gresham safe routes, but it's a training area for kids to understand how do I interact with drivers, how do I ride my bike. All of those are part of the training. So it's not just how do you ride your bike.
Oh, okay.
It's also how do I come to a stop?
It's all safe.
How do I deal with a green box? How do I deal with
Oh, that's
I might need to attend.
Yeah, so it's the interaction of all of those that are part of the training. So.
I would have paid someone to teach my daughter how to ride a bike because I just about pulled my hair out trying to teach her.
I was just about to say, my daughter needs to learn how to ride 2 instead of the 4.
Bring her down to the trail.
I don't want to do that. Tears Central, somebody else.
You take the pedals off and they walk, they.
Actually, Strider bikes are the best way to learn.
Yeah.
Just push it.
They use their feet and then
Oh.
they push with their feet and they bounce.
Let's send them towards
I
the.
needed this 15 years
So
ago.
the Strider bike is no pedals. You're basically figuring out balance and you're pushing off. And typically it starts at like 2 to 3 years old. Start it that way so they understand the balance.
She's got like, yeah, she's 6, so she's got the little training wheels. But
I see a lot of kids
No
on
training wheels, no pedals. Feet are on the ground as they.
So we never did training wheels. We went straight from the Strider to the, and it seems like quicker. Like you put the reliance on the training wheels that.
yeah.
It's like this.
Yeah, and then you end up with the one
2
wheel.
wheels.
One wheel is always off and the other. It can be fun to watch, that's for sure.
It is.
Um,
But anyways, I'm saying, I was
Yeah.
person with a child. I
So
would
it's,
love that.
this is safe routes to school, and that's the challenge of safe routes to school is we want kids to understand how to utilize a bike. But we're migrating into this weird space now with all these different other products that it's not just a bike anymore. It's a scooter, it's a one wheel, it's a, the Segway, it's the, so all of these things are options now for mobility. So, I mean, we were even talking about at the last summit meeting, do we need to change the name? It's not a bike lane anymore. It's a mobility lane. Because I have ADA handicapped in Gresham especially. I have a number of handicapped people that use the lane to get from point A to point B. It's not just bikes anymore. So we're in this in-between space of how we're utilizing our infrastructure, so.
Okay, I'm gonna just get us back to, what are we telling Frank for submitting?
I got 2 notes.
2 notes. You're gonna do that first article?
Yeah. And I added the ending to focus on they have to come to the PSEA meeting. Or if they have questions, refer to Kelly.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Okay, well, there's just lots still to talk about, more stuff that we can be doing, so to be continued, I think, more stuff about.
But certainly,
scooters.
that's another thing potentially.
Yes.
On a safety issue and that
Yeah.
table thing, there could be some information and whatever
Absolutely.
as a go-to on that. And
Yes. I think totally so. Okay, so let's move on to agenda item number 10. We gotta get done here. We're already late. So, does anybody have, I put this down here, I moved it down thinking sometimes we need time to think about, is there anything we want to say for the resource officer to focus on in May? Do we have anything?
what, do you think you could sit in my neighborhood and watch the buses go?
Yeah. I actually did the other day. I was there on my bike.
I'm a little late, but I actually like this one better.
I don't know why. I'm still late.
Just to cut the mobility.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me do the other things that we can back up and have a timeout on that. Okay, so I know the public safety work group did not meet on Monday as they planned this week, so that got
No,
scratched.
we didn't plan this, we had none planned. We had them planned the other 2 months, but they didn't meet those 2 months. The next meeting today is the 18th.
Yeah, I know, but I had heard there was one this Monday, so I put it on our agenda, but then it wasn't there. So
And there wasn't
that's why I put it on. I heard it was the 11th. So anyhow, there's nothing to update there. Next month's agenda, we are going to talk a ton about these discussion, the things to plan for the town hall and these e-bike stuff. So plan on that stuff, plus our normal stuff.
Frank won't be
I'm
here.
in Copenhagen.
Oh, okay.
How dare you?
Yeah. You guys can visit.
Okay, so, that's agenda for next month. Okay, next month's meeting, June 4th. Is that good with everybody except for Frank?
Show you all the
No one is
bikers.
good?
I will not be here for June or July,
Okay,
unfortunately.
no, I need to run. June 4th, good for everybody? Otherwise? Got it down. Oh, it must be good. Okay, and then, committee member comments. We'll start with you, Frank.
No, I'm good. I talked too much already.
Thanks, Sherry.
Me too.
Okay, Rich? Okay. Kelly?
Just quickly, I'll do 2 things. Earlier last month, there was a death at the Amazon facility down here. And I did hear that there's a lot of issues at that facility. And it just concerns me from a public safety that, people who work in the warehouses are typically our lower income individuals in our community. And the way it was treated was absolutely abysmal. So I did reach out to the mayor to talk to him about it, to see what are we doing, but I think that that's a big deal and scary to have in our community. The other thing that I was thinking about is Reynolds High School budgeting. They just found out that they're not getting the funds for the summer school that they need. And so I would like to do something to think about our high school kids, and from a public safety and equity perspective, what we could potentially do to assist.
Which one did you say they're not getting the funds for?
Their summer school.
Oh, yeah. This is the state.
Which, yeah, I saw the articles and it was this huge deal, and I guess the kids that go to their summer schools typically are the first kids in their families to graduate high school, so it's a big deal. Those are my 2 comments. Sorry to end on a
Yeah,
rough one, but
they just gave more funds away today, but not Reynolds.
yeah.
No.
Troy?
So that meeting on the 18th is at 6:30 right here, if you want to come. And I was sad to see that one of the budget cuts in Montgomery County Sheriff was the hope
Oh.
Yeah, I spoke to Brian Gertman.
Oh, I-
And I talked to the city manager, Mike, and I had a meeting on Friday about that, so it's gonna have an impact.
Okay, well, yes, I'm on this. So, okay, well, thank you all. I think that we have a very full plate of stuff that we got to get done. Lots of information to get out. Feel really good today, so thank you all for being here. Appreciate it. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
Okay, move to adjourn.
I second.
Seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Good night, everybody.
Hello.